A person who fully anticipates surviving beyond physical death might be quite startled to learn that an afterlife truly exists. Yet, under certain unusual conditions, they might be barred from entering it. Imagine discovering that not every soul is granted immediate access to the realms beyond mortal life. This is precisely what we will explore in D. By now, most people have heard about the potential existence of an afterlife in which human souls dwell in some form. Some envision it as a realm of radiant light and constant delight, others see it in terms of heaven and hell, while still others regard it as another dimension within the vast multiverse. Then there is the theory of reincarnation, which adds another layer of complexity to the entire concept of posthumous existence. If reincarnation is real, how does it tie in with the notion that souls live in another world after death? And if the soul travels through multiple births and deaths, what purpose does that otherworldly sojourn serve? At first glance, these questions may seem impossible to reconcile. However, as Alexi Primas' groundbreaking discoveries suggest, everything might fit together more coherently than we assume. Primas' theories about what truly happens to people after they die offer plausible explanations for several other strange, paranormal phenomena. In an interview given years ago, he was asked whether he genuinely believed in life after death. He answered, "I don't merely believe in it just as I don't believe in air. I know it exists." Unequivocally, this unshakable certainty stemmed from the extensive research he conducted throughout the 1990s. During that period, Prima led a unique group known as the Center for the Study of Abnormal Contact Situations. Together, he and his colleagues investigated bizarre events that defied traditional scientific explanation, designing experiments that employed both cutting-edge instruments and deep hypnotic methods. Their central question was profound: does a person truly have a soul, and if so, where does it go after the body dies? According to Prima, they discovered that not only does the physical body face death, but a portion of our spiritual substance also undergoes a form of demise, making the death process much more complex than mainstream science acknowledges. This complexity is linked to what occurs once our mortal journey ends. Prima explained that at the critical moment of death, a bioenergetic twin separates from the person. This twin, as he described, is essentially a bundle of vital force that occupies a borderland between matter and energy. Sometimes referred to as a ghost, it can become visible under certain conditions, particularly if the deceased person had an intense thirst for life. While this energy twin retains vestiges of the mind, its functionality eventually degrades. After about 40 days, it dissipates into particles of light, scattering throughout space unless something unusual interrupts or accelerates the process. Before the energy twin fully dissolves, another astral entity, shaped somewhat like a luminous egg, detaches from it. Prima identifies this entity as the soul. Under unfortunate circumstances, it can separate from its energy twin prematurely, causing the soul to become lost between Earth and the astral planes for a while. In the worst scenarios, a dark consciousness can seize or manipulate this drifting soul, which may clarify some unsettling accounts in which a benign, friendly figure often resembling a departed loved one suddenly behaves with malevolence in dreams or even in waking experiences. After this detachment, the soul is transported into a parallel reality. Symbolically, it is carried by a so-called bird of death, a creature depicted on several ancient Egyptian mystical frescoes. Numerous shamanic traditions likewise describe a supernatural bird that conveys souls to the afterlife or, in the case of shamans, to a different realm where they receive sacred knowledge. But, according to Prima, not everyone is carried away by this bird of death. Some souls are simply forbidden from entering the afterlife, but not necessarily for the reasons we might initially suspect, such as committing unforgivable sins. Instead, Prima proposed that every person is assigned a particular mission or program to fulfill in this life. If that mission remains incomplete at the time of physical death, then entry into the true afterlife is withheld. This observation aligns with accounts from individuals who have undergone clinical death. They often report that they were not permitted to continue into the beyond. Instead, they felt compelled to return to earthly life because their time was not yet up, or their life's tasks were unfinished. Primas' theory suggests that if someone dies before completing their tasks, say due to an accident, they must be reincarnated to accomplish what was divinely decreed. To draw a parallel, Primas says it's akin to a test of spiritual maturity. Those who pass move onward to higher spiritual realms, while those who fail must remain for another attempt. Accordingly, if a soul's mortal journey ended prematurely, it often seeks to reincarnate as soon as it can, typically within the area where its previous existence came to an end. This notion appears in certain ancient traditions, such as those in Tibet, where a renowned esoteric teacher's reincarnation is sought near the location of his prior life. Within Primas' book, From Mystery to Mystery, he chronicles many accounts from those who experienced clinical death. Based on their testimonies, he deduced that most of them had only glimpsed the vestibule of the true afterlife, rather than the deeper realms. According to him, any knowledge of that fully developed otherworld is barred from those who are not yet permanently deceased, to ensure that earthly souls are neither overwhelmed nor tempted to abbreviate their mortal existences. Additionally, those who have not completed their life mission will be prevented from crossing this final threshold altogether. In one compelling account, Prima describes a doctor who encountered his deceased mother in a vision. Naturally, he asked about the world on the other side. She told him that such information was off limits to the living, forbidden by the gatekeepers of the afterlife to avoid disrupting people's earthly paths. It also discourages mortals from compromising their learning process or interfering with divine timing. Just because some people witness no apparent afterlife features during clinical death does not mean there is nothing there. Our lack of perception doesn't negate the possibility of another realm's existence. This parallels the mystery of human birth. A fetus developing in the womb has no concept of the world it will soon enter, yet that external environment is undeniably real. The same metaphysical principles, Prima argues, apply to life and death. There is a certain natural order, and souls are not granted complete knowledge of subsequent stages until they are ready. Even those who insist there can be no life after death often betray a lingering hope that such a realm could exist, revealing a subtle fear that their own denial might be misplaced. Why do so many return to this subject, repeatedly reading books and watching films about near-death experiences or reincarnation? Because on some profound level, we all sense that our existence has meaning beyond random chance. Researchers like Alexi Primas have dared to study this topic openly, risking criticism and skepticism. And for that reason alone, whether or not one agrees with their conclusions, their audacity deserves a measure of admiration. So, what do you think lies in store for us once we leave the physical plane? Do you expect to dwell in an otherworldly domain? Or do you believe you'll be reborn to complete unfinished business here on Earth? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. Let us continue to question, explore, and probe these mysteries as they speak to our deepest curiosities about existence itself. Dear friends, thank you for watching this exploration until the end. If you found it intriguing, please remember to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support truly matters, and it encourages us to delve even deeper into these captivating topics. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful day.